on the Liveline. It's a pleasure to welcome back to the program
Mr. Jesse Brooks, who is an AIDS activist. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Donald.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great, man. Awesome.
Good to hear from you, man. And as a lot of our listeners know, Thursday's World AIDS Day, and lately it seems that the focus isn't there as much as it was.
Yes.
Talk about that whole struggle.
Well, I think one is the mindset that this was a white gay man's disease.
Absolutely.
So people still have that mindset that it's a gay disease, but it's not. It's a sex disease. You know, I've been positive since 1993. So to look at me, I could be any brother from the street.
Mm-hmm, that's right.
And so that's what the face of HIV looks like. And that's why I do what I do. My brother died of HIV. Leon Anthony Brooks was my oldest brother. And he was an awesome brother, very creative, very handsome. He was my idol. In the early 80s, when people were first getting HIV and AIDS, it was a visual thing. You can see people with AIDS. There was so much stigma. And he got sick in front of our whole family. So, you know, we saw him die as a family. And so, but it also instilled fear in me that when I became positive, I just knew I was gonna die. And Leon's story is like so many of my friends and people that I was maturing with at the age of 18, 19. So many of those people I danced with in the clubs didn't make it. They're not here today.
Clubs were our home, our place to come out and get support from one another. It was like our community center, but of course it was a nightclub.
The clubs were a refuge from the outside world, where they lived a double life.
At the time, I was very much into religion and, you know, I was raised that way. But one day, my roommate, he asked me to come to his church. And there was a minister standing in front of me, and he said, "There's a demon here, a homosexual demon." And I thought, I mean, you know, usually in church, often you will feel it's you and they're not talking about you directly, but he was talking about me. And he said, "We learned that there's a homosexual demon here." He walked right in front of me and put his hand on my head and started trying to cast the homosexual demon out of me. And I felt so crushed and so betrayed by my roommate. You know, I literally got up and I grabbed the evangelist's arm and twisted it. And I said, "There's a demon in here and it's you." And I just walked out of the church.
I remember growing up in the church and being a part of, with my mother, with my brothers, and hearing a homophobic sermon that would just make me want to shrink in the pews and be silent and look around and see other men feeling the same way. And then after church, no one talks about it, and we just go on to our homes. And what I finally realized is how damaging that was to me as a young person trying to accept his identity. And I was in so much pain. And I carried this silently around. And I was looking for a pain release. And people used to say that you use drugs because you have all this stuff inside. And so the drugs took away the pain. But then it started taking away everything else. And it just led to this whole cycle, years of deterioration for me. I was involved in the cycle for a long time.
It was during those years that Jesse contracted HIV. At the same time, in the 80s, Drug use in cities like Oakland had become its own epidemic.
And this is a local area where folks come and hang out. Little drug use goes on here. Intravenous drug use, smoking the crack. A lot of the sex workers come here also. My name is Willie Dudley. I'm a recovering addict. I have 11 years clean. I have a different life now. I can see life through life's terms. So, not that I don't think about it, because there was some good times with the drugs now. There was good times. There was more bad times, which led me to get various things such as herpes, HIV.
Back when Willie was infected, HIV was spreading fast among addicts, but it was invisible. Deaths were mounting, and no one was paying attention.
A lot of our clients, the first thing they'll say is, God bless you, thank y'all, I wish y'all had been here back when I first started in the 60s or the 70s. I've got 15 to 20 friends that are in the ground now.
Drug addicts were vulnerable to HIV because the virus entered the community at a particular time in history.
In the 1980s, it's important to recall that with communities becoming increasingly poor, with high rates of unemployment, with ferocious housing segregation, the jobs were no longer there. And all of a sudden, the drug guy, the dope man, became the person who, for all intents and purposes, was the employer of first choice.
The business boomed. People got hooked and overdosed. Hospitals were overwhelmed.
So we're at this crisis point. We can recognize that drug abuse is a public health challenge and treat people who are dealing with this challenge. Or we can do what was ultimately decided. We can declare this as a criminal justice issue, that this is a crime that's being committed within the community that requires a massive police response.
The law that mattered most to the spread of HIV was known as the Drug Paraphernalia Law. It made it illegal to carry a needle.
So it became clear to drug users that if you were going to have a spike on you, you were really running a terrible risk. So somebody said, why don't you come into my building and I will sell you the drug of your choice, and I'll also rent you some equipment that you can use to shoot it up.
Well, it's a shooting gallery, okay? That's what it's for.
How many people are coming in here today?
Up to 100 a day or more.
It was the perfect way to transmit the virus.
With the sharing of needles, if you had just one person in a network of people who were sharing needles become infected with HIV, that virus is going to be passed to everybody.
And that's what happened. The virus spread between users to their partners and deep into the community. It was the unintended consequence of the Drug Paraphernalia Law.
I think that our lawmakers had very good intent when they wrote paraphernalia laws. But our lawmakers are not public health experts.
Public health advocates like Jeff McDowell decided they had to break the law.
You need some help?
A former Marine turned social worker, Jeff has been setting up shop for 17 years in this neighborhood of Atlanta called The Bluff.
One thing we do is the needle exchange. What we want to do is create an environment, a way of thinking amongst drug users that says one clean needle, one shot, and provide the disposal services for people to be able to come and properly dispose of the syringes.
83, 84, 85, 86.
Here in Atlanta, syringe exchange is still illegal, as in many places in the country. And it's controversial.
98, 99, 100.
It's always the age-old question, the age-old argument that we're encouraging drug use.
103, 104, 105, 106.
But over the years, study after study has proved syringe exchange programs do not increase drug use.
It's not about debating legitimacy of it. We know that it works, we know that it's necessary, and we know that with every clean syringe we give, That's one less chance and risk of not only a drug user being infected, but their partners being infected.
Your partner uses now? Mm-hmm. When's the last time have you been sharing any needles? No. So you've been coming to get needles from us and been using your own Clean Works. What about the unprotected sex is what you're concerned about?
Yeah.
What happened that you decided to get a test today?
It's just to get me out of the house and actually go and do it, but since it was right here and ready,
right. Yeah, so in the event that this test doesn't turn out the way you want it to turn out, then what?
Cry like a baby.
It's okay.
I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do.
Well, one thing I want you to know
honestly,
is, either way, I want you to know that you will not be alone from the moment you walk from this truck, okay? We definitely want to stay with you and provide our support for you that you need, okay?
What we want to do is engage folks in their own environment, just as they are, wherever they are, on their terms.
Okay, you ready for it? Okay, let's step in. I'm pulling for her. Things work out for her, and that she does get a negative result. And we'll go from there.
Her HIV test results will be ready in 10 minutes.
We're not here to tell them to get off of drugs.
Right.
I mean, we're not drug counselors. Some of us are in our own right, but we're here from a public health standpoint that we want to see the community healthier. And right now, that mission just happens to be HIV/AIDS.
This is unbelievable. 15 churches in the local area?
Yeah, 22 actually.
22 churches in the local area?
Yeah.
This is the mission of the church.
Yeah.
We should put a cross on.
It's really difficult for a lot of the older pastors. The political fallout is too much for them to become involved with HIV/AIDS and some of the techniques that we use.
For a lot of churches, and being a pastor myself, we've missed the mark. It's a documented fact throughout America. The black church was the avenue which all social ills came through. And it really saddens me, man, because the church, we missing.
How you feeling?
Oh, a lot better. A lot better. So
Her HIV test is negative.
I'm real proud of you, man. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much.
Interventions like this have been one of the success stories of the past 30 years, radically reducing the spread of AIDS among addicts, their partners, and the most vulnerable, their children.
Since as long as I can remember, I wanted to do music. It was more than just listening to music. It was something about writing the songs and creating music, arranging music and composing and putting people together that could create the right sound. The passion grew stronger as I grew older. More songs, more music, more beats. They started bringing beats into the whole program. That's when I started to create and work with different producers. I'm Stephen Bush, and I'm the founder of Disaster Area Music. Throughout the years, I've gathered the best talent that the West Coast has to offer. Throughout my quest, I've come encounter with great acts like V-Love, Jackpot, Poetic Punishment, Disaster, The Diamond Girls, Golden Graham, Alfonso, J Money, and many others. In this journey of ours to make it to the top of our dreams, our goals, we have many obstacles, one being right where I'm at right now, the cemetery. But in our journey, we've managed to use our creativity to keep us out of the streets and do positive things rather than doing negative things. See what Disaster Area Music's been up to. It's hard to gain and remain the same unchained. Speaking my mind, got me the label of being deranged. It's strange. Whip and selling weed, the rock and cane. We got a fight for the fortune and the fame. Who should I blame for this game that was taught to me on these streets? First of all, check yourself. I always check my knees. Then learn how to masterpiece. Exploding words make the whole track sound complete. Have you ever heard words explode from the top of just like this? Out of the same mouth that I kiss my mom with. They fuck with the wrong G. I be the D-I-Z-A-Z-T. Hey.
Live from Los Angeles. Disaster. Poetic punishment.
Alarm. It's time to celebrate. It's time to get ours. We didn't wait it long enough. From the womb to the courtroom, then to the tomb, I'm a maneuver making power move. The punishment boom, consumes rooms in black lit rooms. Feeling numb, flat broke, bitch, what you thought? Just like a bum and still can't be touched. Hush, you smoking the Dutch, house stay flushed. Running mouths get put on the crutch. Switch gears and burn the clutch. So quick your shit get flushed. Then back to the flatbread family, real niggas I trust. All of us gon' recognize and intercept the currency. From this industry on broke niggas, they slept quiet as kept. I crept one step into the front with an irate expression on my face, demanding what I want. I'm disaster grinding. I peep out those that's lurking, put the contract on your spirit, cause my mind's always working. The evasion's necessary. Punishment must prevail. From the streets to the jail cells. Come with me on the journey to become the best. West Side. Come with us on the journey to become the best. Power moves. Power moves. Power moves. Power moves. I passed another season of gat squeezing, burying close relatives due to treason and hoe skeezing, without reason or a chance to try to get prepared. We got our own parents walking around these streets scared to get involved in our activity, living a life in misery, cutting out our possibilities to advance to the so-called right track. This world is like Sodom and Gomorrah, so don't look back.
I love all my people. I wish they knew how I really felt. I wish my struggle, the power struggle, between me and myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Got my nigga Dazaz and this motherfucker. With his power struggle. Between he and him. His struggle. This is a power struggle. Yeah.
Imagine not having shit. Owing everybody something. Disaster, ready to result to dumping. Double pumping and jumping. And that six-fold is bumping. Rolling up the block swiftly, quickly, discreetly. Y'all all know me. I'm the D.I.Z. See, poetry just be flowing through me. It's in my veins. I got funk flowing through my veins. They trying to dissect my brain just to see if I am sane. Negative, that's all they come up with. I grab my strap and get them out my face quick. Got no time for the rap threats. Place your bets, I'm knocking niggas out in a sec. I'm giving heartaches and back breaks to the face. Dropping fools daily in lakes. I'm the sole survivor, ain't nobody liable. Plus I taught some shit to MacGyver. You better watch out, when I'm on a rampage, I'm ripping up your rap pages with my damn 12 gauge. And laugh as I let off steam, and all that's in your mind is that nigga's me.
Hold on, Big Quay, what's happening, man? Hey, man, you know what, man? I heard that motherfucker, man, nigga Disaster, man. He on the run, man. What he on the run for? I don't know, man. They say that man done sold a motherfucking 1 million copies, man. They want to lock him up for selling 1 million records, man. What you say, man? You want to ride with him or what? Let's ride with him. Load him up. You BT, dog.
It's 106
It's a
Chicago, right Cali thing, nigga.
Yeah.
Hey, look.
Yeah, for the homies that ain't here, baby. I reminisce way back. Teammate stab, them a niggas wild eating foods up, biting heads off.
What's your name, man? They don't know you.
Poetic Punishment Productions.
They don't know you, man.
Shit, yeah.
Huh? You with Flat Bro? What?
They trying to think, treat myself to a fifth for Grandma Ye, the only one at the round table, rolling up a Santa Fe, champagne glass for one. A lot that need to be done, pop the locks on the briefcase, uncut my gun, unboard the handcuffs. Hustle on these streets getting rough, while the criminal justice system is steady getting tough. If that ain't enough, my team falling apart for the cream. I really need to wake up from this bad dream. It seems that Armageddon starting to set in. I'm going to funeral after funeral. I'll do the chest sweating. It's time to throw a curveball at all of y'all. We done watched y'all busters rise, and now it's time to watch it fall. A sweet brief message to all with balls. Y'all days is numbered if you're plotting on our downfall. No enemy nervous me. I keeps it real, but I pack that heat constantly. Y'all ain't killing me cowardly like y'all did Biggie or Tupac Shakur from Oakland. That was our nigga. Now that I got it clear that I fear no enemy, I'm packing massive steel for your cowards designing me. Expensive medical bill for those that's trying me. Yo, I never got that bird that you was flying me, but I'ma get it. I'm aiming for the world and watch me hit it, and leave it for the paparazzis to deal with it. No enemies nervous me. I keeps it real, but I packs the heat constantly. Y'all ain't killing me cowardly like y'all did Biggie or Tupac Shakur from Oakland. That was our nigga.
Here we come, motherfucker, have no shame.
I became a fiend, dreams and shadows, and there's no flame. When the mothership lost, please don't lose faith. And the true young soldier, I beat that boost colder than Alaska. Hitting high like Africa. America is where I was born at. But I didn't forget that I was black or I was born. And tell us when I sing, who goes there? Hope you're prepared for the godly glare. Hope you're prepared for the godly glare. Hope you're prepared for the godly glare. When the news very soon, I keep it real. Whenever he comes to me, y'all ain't killing me. Coming.
The brother thing right now is about to do this thing.
Something like this, like drama, but to me it's like horror. Here today, gone tomorrow. It's so common, it's hard to feel sorrow. From poor to rich, rich to poor, but that's life in the ghetto. Shit, I'm even half sane, but someday I'm gonna let go. But yet I shed a tear for my dead peers. Out of respect, I pour a guzzle of beer out on the battlefield. Why, oh why do my beats get killed? Over bullshit, some of it he say, she say. Man, it's stupid because if he spray, and if he lay, he lay. And now you wondering why we all facing DJ.
Check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
You're not on it. I will turn you on.
Check, check, check. It started off in the emergency room, deliveries by the boom, epidemic, baby, destined for doom. Moments passed as the doctors expecting me to lay in my tomb. But the seconds past birth, it was too late. Seconds past curse, 4 years later. Didn't know life for what it's worth, but the stressing gets worse. The lessons got worse, profession got worse. Brother Jeff and dispersed. 7 days later, he returned to the earth, shattered hopes and dreams. Now we rest in the casket, engraved in dirt. Shed tears, reminisce on the past that hurts. And that's my darkest pain. This my darkest pain. This my darkest pain. The song is called The Darkest Pain, and it explains how I have a little brother that died from AIDS, and how my mother passed away, and sort of how I felt about that.
Night sweats, woke up to a nightmare just to realize what you petrified about is living right here. Mom losing weight, she's only 26 years old, and she's dying of AIDS. Karma came back rougher, life switched up.
I think I was maybe probably like 5 or 6 when I knew that I had HIV, but I did not understand exactly what HIV was and what it did to the body.
No one knows how many babies were born to mothers with HIV in the early years. Not many survived.
Life's full of criticism, I'm on a mission, taking medication by the prescription.
Tom and his friend Keith have a name for it. They call themselves Bornies.
Being a Bornie, being born with HIV is a lot. I was the last one born in my family, and I was the only one born with HIV. And my mom at the time was not doing well. She was doing drugs, I believe, so she couldn't take care of us. So they put us into foster care, all of us, but they were going to split us all up into different houses, me and my brothers. I have 3 brothers. So they were going to split us all up. But my grandmother was just like, we'll take them all.
All together,
at least about 25 of my grandkids. 25, and all of them come from into this house. Yes, all of them come into this house. So Keith's mother, she passed away with the virus. She didn't take care of herself. That's the main thing. Because what I mean by she didn't take care of herself, she was still using. And she knows she had it. She was still using that crack cocaine. She was the sweetest. But the only thing, the drug just overpowered her. Keith come to me when he was 2 weeks old. I've been having him since he was 2 weeks old. And we sparred him because Boston Medical, the doctor said he wouldn't make it no more than 3 years. And he's 20 years old now. Oh, you know, he always got a nice word to say. Never get into no problem. Never have to go to school for him. The only thing, if he just can keep his room clean. Why you have such a fit about not want to do your room?
If I get up and it's dirty and I clean it, when I come back home, I'm just gonna dirty it again.
Oh, that's it.
Yes. She's got that toughness about her. I think if she wasn't so tough, people would run all over her. So I think that's a good thing. I like it. My grandmother didn't like for people to be like afraid of me, so she would tell them before they got around me, so they wouldn't be all like, oh, I'm not gonna eat near him because he's got something. And she'd be like, well, if you're not gonna eat near him, then you can't eat near any of us because we eat near him.
Well, we're gonna have a big dinner.
When?
Thanksgiving. You take care
So I feel like I was always just me. Like, if you don't like me, then that's too bad. But there was this one girl that was in my neighborhood, and I liked her. So I was like, oh, I like you a lot, blah, 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 but I should kind of tell you. And this is when I was first starting to do this. So I was like, I should tell you that I have HIV. And she was like, oh, yeah? And she was like cool with it that night. But then the next night she was like, I don't know. I'll talk to you later. Like, all right, I'll see you later. I was like, oh, wow. It's never happened. Then I was like, oh, okay, whatever, though. 'Cause I'm still a cool person. You don't want to chill. That's fine.
So for a while now, Keith's been dating a young woman who's also HIV positive.
Actually, I knew Keith for a very long time, playing as kids, and I really got close to him. I think I find it more easier to date someone who's HIV positive because you have a lot in common. You don't have to hide certain things from them. They know how you feel if you're sick. They experience a lot.
It's really hard because you feel like you're living a double life. And it's a crappy secret to keep because it's so hard to keep up with every single thing you tell everybody. So it just becomes this intricate web of lies. And so when it comes to romantic relationships, it sucks. I just don't even want to deal with those as of right now because it's a lot. Because you have to think about, do I like you enough to tell you this? Do I trust you enough to tell you this?
Sometimes you would make a friend and you would lose a friend. Like I would have friends that had the HIV or AIDS, and then, next year you would go to camp and you would wonder why they're not there, but you would know why they're not there if they're not there. It's because they had passed away. I've seen my mother pass away from AIDS, so I always kind of carry that with me.
She's only 26 years old, then she's dying the AIDS. Karma came back rougher. I switched up, never had time to suffer. Hated the choices that she made, but I loved her. Hated the choices that she made, but I loved her. But I still loved her. But I still loved her. Had to learn to forgive. I still loved her.
The number of babies born with HIV peaked in the early 1990s, when many women were swept up in the twin epidemics of HIV and crack.
Crack cocaine came along. Of course, one of the first communities we saw the devastation in was the African American communities. There was just a huge supply of the drug, and just the mere addictive nature of the drug, a lot of people latched on very, very quickly.
The most important thing about the crack cocaine epidemic was the degree to which it was marketed in Black and in some Latin communities as an aphrodisiac. This is a drug that will enhance sexual pleasure. This is a drug that will make you forget all the cares and woes of everyday life. And it will help you forget because the nature of the sexual experience you'll have will be just mind-blowing.
A crack habit took everything. You'd sell whatever you had for the next hit.
When there was nothing left, women were told, well, baby, if you ain't got no money, you've always got you. And then there'd be a negotiation for a crack for sex exchange. In many instances, this kind of sexual bargaining, this kind of crack-related sex work, was carried out without there being any kind of protection taken. If you're the demander, you get to call the tune, and if you say we're going to have sex without a condom, that was what you were going to do because the addiction was that powerful.
Crack and sex work is a lethal combination.
This is East 14th. It is mostly everything from selling crack to sex work to hustling, in whichever form that they can get that in. That's what this is the main street that mostly goes down on. Yeah, she's one of our regulars. She's about 16. When you're under influence of crack, sometimes if a guy says, I give you $20 more if you don't use a condom, generally she'll say, well, okay. Whereas if she's got a lot of money, she'd be like, nah, dude, if you ain't got no condom, that's only what we're gonna do. Unless, of course, he said $50. And then she'll be like, okay, but I'm gonna remember you. She tried to put a fear in it. But generally, they'll do what they have to do. And that puts them more at risk.
By the late 80s, the crack epidemic was being blamed for the tremendous rise in violence and crime in the inner city.
America was not prepared. We didn't know how to treat addiction. So with this whole crack thing hitting the neighborhoods, it literally destroyed neighborhoods.
Under pressure, Congress pushed through tough new laws. Sentences for crack would be 100 times more severe than for cocaine offenses. The number of arrests skyrocketed.
The only problem with that is that they were mostly young African-American males rounded up and thrown into jail. Many of them were getting sentences of 10, 15, and 20 years for $10 worth of crack cocaine. But it was about showing a response. It was the beginning of an unbreakable chain of young African-American men going to jail for drugs.